Today is the 16th of June, it's Father's Day in the UK, and we're going to pick up my dad and we're going to go to Ford Green Hall today, so see you in a bit. Right guys, we're here at Ford Green Hall. This is what we've got. Isn't that stunning? It's an ex-farmhouse. It is built in 1634, I think. Just look at this door. Yeah, it's quite a short door. You think, you stand there, Xander. Xander stands by the door. So, well, we've even got a step, so it makes it even shorter still. And you go stand there. Yeah, that's about right. I love this lion knocker. That's great. So this is the hall. Apparently this was the most important room of the house because most of the cooking was done here.
The quality of the surgeons, I mean, look at the surgeons who would be doing man.
So what have we got here? This looks a bit deathly.
A small selection of some of the tools that a surgeon would use on a battlefield, such as with Battle of Waterloo.
Right.
Just on there.
Yes.
Which is just a small selection of them. Very much carpenter's tools, if you like, or very simple tools. These tools haven't changed much over 200-300 years and more. So we're still using the same type of tools.
Wow. I mean, you know, what these sort of, what were these before?
Well, I mean, these are cauterizing irons. What we do with that is heat that up.
Yeah.
On a wound.
Yeah.
It's a way of sealing it, basically.
Right.
So heat it up and then basically put it onto the skin.
Yeah.
And the skin would fuse together. So there'd be a smell of burning flesh as you were doing it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So it's not nice.
It was. I mean, I don't suppose they had any anaesthetic or anything, did they?
There was no anaesthetic at all.
No.
Even in 1815, when we hadn't got anaesthetic. I think the French had just started, but we hadn't.
Did they have drink or something to try and numb the pain?
That's a nice thought,
but
no.
Not really. No. That was just in films.
Yeah, they wouldn't waste it on.
No.
No, I mean, it was pretty much a. I mean,
so you've obviously got. We'll take the shot out.
Yeah, shot out. Yes, they've come. That's for your teeth, if you like. Yeah, it's just simple.
Right.
That's set of pliers. You just push, twist, pull. An amputation. That's my amputation knife.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been bigger than that.
Well, I'm talking about an amputation knife for hand or wrist or something like that.
Right.
It's basically down there, round there in one complete movement, round there to right down to the bone.
Then you'd saw, I see.
Before I do that, I've got to get my irons there.
Yeah.
Pull the skin back, so literally you're exposing that flesh there before you saw, and then you saw.
And then, I suppose you would cauterize, would you then, or?
Yeah, I'd cauterize it. You could hopefully. Well, you've got that flap of skin which you can push back and hopefully make some sort of a seal, if you like.
Yeah.
But then it would be cauterized or sewing if you're lucky, or even to a pitch.
I mean, did it save a lot of lives, that, or?
It saved a lot of lives, but on the other hand,
did they get infected and things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's no antiseptics. We didn't have the antiseptics at that time. I wouldn't bother to clean my instruments. I might wipe them.
Yeah, then to go on to the next
one
patient.
Because it was basically speed was of the essence.
So I mean, you've got to like pass them all.
Yeah.
So I mean, would they have any like herbs and things to go on the wounds?
In this situation, you wouldn't.
No.
It's basically just it's speed is of the essence.
Yeah.
Get them treated, move them on because there's so many of them. It's at the time that day on the battlefield, there was over 500 amputations.
Wow. So what do they?
That's just for make a tourniquet.
Oh right, to make a tourniquet.
Just basically.
So there's your tourniquet.
Yes. Yeah. It's a basic hammer. Yeah. I mean, if your hand, if your finger had been crushed, put your hand down, and then literally just smack it down. Just smack it down.
Oh right, to cut it off essentially.
Just cut it off basically. Yeah. Speed is of the essence. That is the main thing. If you were cutting your wrist, it would take about a couple of minutes. I've got my thigh bone. It's going to take half an hour to saw through that.
Wow.
I'd use a bigger saw than I've got here.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's, that's what you take. That's.
Thank you.
So it's very no painkillers.
No painkillers at all. No.
And I say speed is the essence.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Gentlemen's indoor cap and ladies' coifs. I didn't even know they were called coifs, but there you go. You learn something new every day. Well, that box is amazing. The embroidery on that box.
Yeah, I did that a lot.
That's, yeah, the
couch work, it stands forward.
Yeah, it does stand forward, doesn't it? It's,
Proud of that.
yeah, that is really nice.
These are stomachers. You know, you see the Tudor lady with it has that piece at the front of a dress.
Oh right.
That's what was put in, and then the dress was tied round that. These are stomach and that's little bags and stuff.
So are these genuine ones, or are
No,
they?
the
They're
replicas,
replicas.
yeah.
They look a bit new to be there. But
Tudor and Jacobean these are.
yeah. Okay. So can you guess what's in our box? Put your hand in without looking and see if you can tell what the objects are. Go on then.
I can't get my hand in there.
No, you can't get in.
No.
Get your hand in there.
For a child, I think.
Oh, I'm not sure you're supposed to pull them out there. I think you're supposed to just feel.
Put your hand in there.
Oh, there's definitely a mug in there, and there's some fabric. That's about as far as I can get.
Yeah, can you open it then?
Yeah, okay.
Pottery.
So there we go. Oh, there's a. Oh, it's a,
Cistercian wear, that's called.
what's it called?
Cistercian wear.
Cistercian wear. So what is that date from Tudor times?
Yeah, sort of check.
Why has it got 3 handles?
Because they did. It was just a. They reckon it was Cistercian monastery. That's a ruff around your neck.
Oh yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
So. Oh, just look at all that. 1730s.
This is all Staffordshire. Staffordshire slipware, a lot of it is. Our local pottery,
Yes.
as was.
Yes. It's a great kitchen though, isn't it? Yeah.
Fantastic furniture in here,
Yeah.
some fantastic oak.
Look
Look at that oak bench.
at these moulds, these gingerbread moulds.
Yeah. Seen that oak bench? Well, elm, I think it is. Look at that.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
That is a beautiful bench. With, you're not supposed to touch one with a crane. That's
I think it's elm. I think it's elm. Rare as well. You don't see stuff like this. That's a candle box, I think. There. Put your candles in.
Oh right, okay. And obviously your herbs.
Yeah.
I love that old pot.
That's a cauldron,
Cauldron, yes.
like your witch's cauldron.
What you call, yeah.
A mortoria for grinding your
Yes.
herbs up in.
Pestle and mortar.
Yeah. They're blackjacks. They're leather.
They're leather, aren't they, those ones?
Call them blackjacks.
So why did they have them the leather?
They're like a pitch, got a pitch inside to make them waterproof. It was a way of making.
Pots and so
Well, they were easy to carry as well. They didn't break
yes,
because of them being leather.
of course. Yes.
Yeah, today would have been the Battle of Quatre Bras,
Right.
which was kind of it was a battle, but it wasn't the full-on thing. It was sort of leading up to it. And then tomorrow, I think there was another battle called Ligny, but that was the Prussians and the French.
Right.
And then they all came together at Waterloo.
And
180,000 men in a battlefield, no more than 3 miles square.
Wow.
40,000 horses as well.
Really?
At the end of the battle, 50,000 men were killed or injured, and 20,000 horses were killed or injured.
My word.
So it was full on.
That was, that's what you call a battle, isn't
That's
it?
a battle.
Yes, it is. So what, these are the replicas of the
we've
guns
got
that they would have used?
replicas from the era, yeah. I'm dressed as an officer in the 95th Rifles.
Right.
So the British get decide by 1800 they need a rifle rather than a smoothbore musket.
Right.
So that's your rifle. That's the 1800 pattern 1800 infantry rifle, but it's commonly known as the Baker rifle
Okay.
because it was invented by Ezekiel Baker.
Right.
And that's your musket. That's the Brown Bess musket.
So what dates do these range from?
1800 onwards. They're in use in the British Army till about 1820 something. I can't quite remember. Then it's taken over by the percussion lock,
Right.
which is a different firing mechanism. But the flintlock in the British Army, muskets are used from about 1700 right the way up until 1820 or 1840 odd even in some cases. So a good well over 100 years for the musket.
So is this your hat?
That's my hat. That's called a shako. It's got the little officer's plume and cords and rifle badge of the hunting horn. So I'm in green, dark green. Most of the army would have been redcoats.
Right, okay,
Because we're rifle regiment, they decided to use green. Sort of the first camouflage, really. So we're out in the between the armies. Redcoats, they fire en masse in lines, probably about 100 yards away from each other. The Brown Bess is effective up to 100 yards.
I mean, it's quite long, isn't it, as well?
Quite
so
long,
it's-
yeah.
I mean, is it accurate?
No,
not in the slightest.
After you'd be very, very lucky if somebody was aiming a Brown Bess at you, a musket at you. You would be very lucky if it hit you.
So
With the Baker rifle, that's a different matter.
right, so that was accurate.
So the Baker rifle's got some I can't think of my words today, which is not very good. Quarter turn, 7 grooves in the barrel.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of rifle on.
Yeah, a little bit of rifle. So if you put a spin on a bullet,
Yeah.
it's more accurate.
Right.
Whereas the Brown Bess, it's not very accurate at all.
Not-
It's just a smooth, what they call smooth bore barrel.
So I'm assuming the swords were obviously close up.
Yeah.
Is this a British officer's sword?
This is a French sword.
French.
Chasseurs a cheval. So it's the French cavalry. Really.
It reminds me of the British naval officer's sword.
Yeah. I've got the 1796 pattern cavalry sword, which a lot of officers used. It's not their official sword, but if you ever watch Sharp,
Yes.
yeah, he's got that one. He shouldn't really. He should have something similar to this one.
Right.
So the 1796 is quite a nasty one. It's got this hatchet point, which would make terrible wounds. There is a story, and we think it is only a story, that the French officially complained about this sword because it was making such horrific wounds on the French. It's probably not very true, that isn't it?
No.
And we've got the heavy cavalry sword, which is the one that Sharp carries,
Right.
which is the straight-bladed one. Not particularly well balanced, but it's not. It wasn't considered a terrible weapon at the time. There's no evidence of people complaining about it.
Not like the other
Using
one.
letters.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
the balance is not as
Diaries.
much when you're horse mounted, doesn't it?
Yeah. This one has got the hatchet point again, but at Waterloo, apparently a lot of them were ground into a spear point.
Right.
So if you've got one which has got a spear point, it probably was at Waterloo, unless it's been done after to make it a bit more
Look like
safe.
it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Amazing.
I'll have if you want. So these are replicas, so
Yes.
they've probably got a bit more weight than they should.
That they should have, yeah.
They should.
So is this like the what you use in?
Yeah, that's a cartridge, paper cartridge.
Just got your gunpowder in.
Yeah, you've got your
Right.
powder in there, you've got your ball there, and you basically bite it off.
Oh
And
right,
load it
and then
up.
just pour it in, sort of thing.
At the brown bass. Oh gosh, it's heavy. So basically, you've got your cartridge, you pull the cock or the hammer back to half cock there, so that's safe, that won't fire. You bite that bullet off, keep it in your mouth, then you pour a little bit of powder into the pan, that would have a hole going through into the main barrel there.
Right.
Close the pan up, that holds the powder in, then the rest of the powder goes down the barrel and the ball goes in as well, because that was in your mouth. And then you probably put the paper down as well, just as some wadding to keep it all in.
Yeah.
Get the ramrod out, which is terribly long compared to the baker rifle. Ram it all down, 2 fingers like that. You don't do it like that, because if it goes off,
Yeah.
you lose your fingers. Better to lose just them bits rather than the whole thing. Ram it down, that gets rid of any of the air that's in the gunpowder, which is very important. If you get too much air in the gunpowder, it can burst the barrel of the gun. So then you're ready, pull it back to full cock, so you've got a piece of flint in there, that'll hit the frizzen there, open that, light the gunpowder in there and set fire to the rest of the gunpowder in the barrel and send the bullet out.
So how long would it actually take them to do that?
They reckon 3 to 4 shots per minute with a brown bass, but only about 2 shots a minute with the Baker rifle, but it's more accurate.
That's more accurate, yeah.
So, you ready?
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah.
How was the bayonet attached?
The bayonet would go on this little socket here, because it's a socket bayonet. That goes on like that. Not very secure really, but that gives you a bit more reach. Now, so quite effective against cavalry. If cavalry are coming at you, you'd form square. So everybody would go from line to form a hollow square. Some would be kneeling, some would have up like that.
I imagine actually like hitting a cavalry would feel like getting hit with a truck.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't tend to get horses won't go into the hedge of bayonets
like
really, because
people
they're
on the
sensible.
horses.
They're sensible. They'll only get into a square if artillery has bombarded the square first, and if you get a break in the square, then once the horses are in, that's it, they've had it. But if you can form square and stay in square, you're pretty okay against cavalry. So that's the bayonet. Anybody want to hold the brown bass?
Well, that's got weight to it.
Very forward heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. I imagine that's why like all like depictions of people holding them all having like very wide stances.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they balance it out.
Mind you don't hit the plate.
So yeah, effective up to about 100 yards.
Smashing.
After that, forget
Only
it.
what's his holding, wasn't it?
You're holding it. Gonna have a hold?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, wait. So you got your Tower stamps on there. That means
Yes.
it's made in the Tower of London.
Tower of London, yeah. The crown.
Assembled in the Tower of London.
Yeah. Oh, it is heavy, that, isn't it?
So this one's French. So your rifle, there we go. That's accurate up to about 200 yards. So you can get about 2 shots per minute. You've got rifling in the barrel, so that will slow the loading down. You need as tight a grip in that rifling as you can. So most of the bullets were wrapped in leather patches.
Yeah.
You've got a little patch box there to hold tools and patches as well. Mine hasn't been dug out properly yet. So you wrap your ball in a leather patch, tight as you can. Now they issued the rifles at first with little mallets, little wooden mallets for tapping the ball in, and then you use your ramrod. So this is why you can't fire as many at a time. but they are really accurate for the time.
At the time, yeah.
So they'd be out in the middle of the field, picking off all the officers and all the sergeants and things like that. They want to disrupt the French army as much as they can. So pick your targets, and they fight in twos. So they're out in twos, one fires, the other is reloading at the same time, and they keep swapping over and doing it that way.
Yeah.
So your guys in your red coats, they're trained to be more or less automatons. Load, fire, load, fire, load, fire.
Yeah.
The rifles were encouraged to think a bit more. So a bit more of an elite, really.
Mm.
But like I say, sometimes they'd be fighting in line with the redcoats as well. So you need your longer sword bayonet, and they have different type of ammunition. So they issue, when the Baker rifle comes into use, they make it so it fits carbine bullets.
Mm.
So they don't have to have another standard of bullet. So you've got your cartridges, but they'd also have a little leather bag with rifle balls in, and powder in a powder horn as well, so they can load either with cartridge or just separately, depending on what they want it to use.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, for anybody who doesn't come from this area, Molly Lee was classed as a witch, wasn't she?
She was, yes.
It's unlikely she was, and I think she got a bad press, really.
Well, her grave is in Burslem churchyard, and it faces the opposite way to all of the graves. She's buried in a pagan manner,
Yes.
rather than a Christian manner.
And, you know, this is a superstition of the time. I mean,
She's
if you look
very-
back on her, she was
she's-
actually a good person.
Yes.
She did a lot. She,
Yeah.
you know, she was, I think, because perhaps she wasn't attractive. Let's say she had disfigurements. It could have been from smallpox or something else of the time. Who knows? But I think the rector of the time just had it in for her, didn't he? He really did not like her.
Buried a crow with her as well. They dug her up.
Yes, because she got a pet, hadn't she? A
crow,
pet
yeah.
crow. And that was seen then obviously as work of the devil, that you can have a pet crow. Well, it's a blackbird, whichever it was.
Yeah, it was a crow.
It could have been a jackdaw actually from.
Well, one of them, yeah.
But it's one of those. But it's a shame that she was looked on like that. Oh, so this is like, I'm assuming it would be like a dressing room at one stage, wouldn't it? So we're upstairs in the bedrooms, and look at that bed. That
It's
is
called the hall chamber.
hall chamber.
It's a tester bed, this is.
It is a
17th
tester.
century.
Look at this chest
The
here.
hangings were to keep it, 1658.
1658.
It's leather, it's covered in leather. Studs, brass studs and leather. Yeah, fantastic. And that cork cover's amazing.
Wow, look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, all carved.
That is just really lovely. So it's a Bible box. I don't know if you can see with the light here because we're standing at the light. These are the gardens. This is, I think, the herb garden. We've got medicinal herbs. Oh, pretty. Look how pretty is that.
Of course, I'm taking a photo of the latrine. The photograph of the loo.
The loo.
The latrine.
The latrine. My word. So that's the loo. I'm assuming you're not going to be using that. I'd love to have a garden like this with raised beds and a beautiful willow.
It's mostly gravel.
Saying that, I wouldn't mind a house to go with it that looks like that.
Yeah, I'd like a house
My
like
word.
that. I could live in there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Stuff you don't notice.
Yeah.
The early 18th century.
This is the, I would say the gardens. This is on the outskirts of it. This is the park. Well, that's the end of our trip here to Ford Green Hall and the beautiful land that surrounds it. It's just really fabulous in the middle of a city to have this green space and to have the wonderful wildlife that actually is here. And it's quite affordable to get here, it's affordable to see, and it just makes a nice morning out. So we've enjoyed the day again, and I'll see you back in the studio. Hi and welcome back to my little studio. We've just come back from Ford Green Hall. It's only been a couple of hours there really, it just took the morning. It was lovely. It's nice to go somewhere that's in the middle of a city but doesn't feel like it. It's surrounded by lovely green space, which is great in the middle of a city for people to walk the dogs. The place itself, lovely. It's nice to find something that's Tudor, I suppose, left from the remnants of times gone by. It was built in 1624. Not 1634 that I said at the beginning, 1624. It's just a very, very beautiful place. It's a bit like one of the first places we went when we first started doing videos, Little Morton Hall, but on a smaller scale. And that's really pretty too. So have a look at that video if you haven't seen that one. Next video, like I said at the beginning, we'll be going to Abbots Bromley. And there they've got a big reenactment going on, which again, it's got a big Napoleonic battle going on. It's got Vikings in battle. It's got Western. It's got everything in that one. So that's going to be a large one, which we'll be going to next week, which you will see in a couple of weeks' time. Again, thank you for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It does help it to grow so we can go more places. And hopefully you enjoy what you see. Thank you. Bye.